So the first psychological term or idea that I'm really going to be talking about is called cognitive dissonance. A little hard for me to say, but I think I got through it. Okay. So cognitive dissonance is the mental stress or anguish that happens when somebody basically holds two contradictory beliefs, or their thoughts and their thoughts and their beliefs don't line up with their actual actions. Okay. So when this happens, it causes things like stress, anxiety. Some symptoms that kind of like, or that might lead into is like trying to justify your actions, being embarrassed about your actions, rationalizing your actions. So it's a whole big thing there, okay? So why is this important? It's actually something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. I first learned about this all the way back in like my Psych 101 class at Cortland. That was one of the topics that we talked about. So I think it's really interesting going with kind of everything that's happening now in the world. It doesn't really matter. Not necessarily taking one side or the other. It just cognitive dissonance happens way more often than we think, or could happen way more often than we think. So what we do is we continuously try to seek things that essentially make us feel good about what we think or what we believe, okay? So again, cognitive dissonance is created by the stress when you hold or when your thoughts don't line up with your actions, okay? So we tend to seek or perform things or exhibit behaviors that line up our thoughts with our actions, so that mental stress and anxiety is naturally reduced, okay? The problem when this happens is that learning and growth tend to stop or slow down, because what you do is you tend to seek that like comfort zone, that balance of that comfort zone, which is that spot where your thoughts and beliefs line up exactly with your actions, and you're all good, and you're just continuously going, okay? You're just plowing through. Some of the problems with that is that people aren't open to new information that might change their thoughts or beliefs, okay? Or new information that might be an example that what they were actually doing might not be ideal, okay? So, okay, I'm gonna go into a couple like practical ways that I've been thinking about this. So, through strength training, kind of classic examples like I know everybody knows that they need to work out, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like super crazy strength training, right? Or something like that. People know that they need to do something to work out in order to stay healthy, right? But I don't have the time, okay? Never true. And I know it sucks to hear that. That is never true. You might not be able to get a crazy an hour and a half, 2-hour workout in. Something can always be done, okay? Somehow, some way, you can perform exercise, okay? And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be getting in the gym. It could be getting out on a walk. It could be, squatting your laundry basket up and down a couple times, going up and down the stairs a couple more times while you're doing stuff at your house. Physical activity can always be done, okay? But we continuously get, I don't have time, the time excuse. I don't have the time to work out, so therefore I can't work out. That is a way to rationalize your actions towards your thought, right? The thought is, I don't have the time to work out, that's why I don't work out. Or that's the thought, I don't have the time to work out, so the behavior is not working out, and that's what you continuously say back and forth. That's the rationalization. Even though if somebody comes along and presents new information that, oh, here's what you could do, right? Trying to genuinely help that person. Here's what you could do to fit some exercise into your day to, keep yourself healthy. you become kind of blinded to that new information, because what it will actually present is that you could have been doing this all along, you should have been doing this all along, but instead you weren't, you were rationalizing it, your behaviors with this thought. So somehow, some way, you might stick with this thought or come up with another excuse as to why you couldn't work out, or start taking care of yourself or something like that. And that's kind of where that cognitive dissonance happens. So you're avoiding that mental stress by rationalizing the thought that you had that promotes the behavior that you're already doing, okay? This happens with a lot of things, and I'm not going to talk about bad on vegan or bad on carnivore here, but that could happen with an extreme diet. I've heard on some instances people who've come to us who were vegan and they were like, I never get sick, and then proceeded to cancel sessions with us because they said they didn't feel well, but they never got sick. Right? It's a weird thing that happens when you can become blinded to your own actions because you're just trying to justify what you were doing in order to avoid that added mental stress, okay? That's what a lot of people do, okay? But the problem is that that's when growth and personal development kind of cease to happen, okay? It's really, really tough to continuously question yourself and question your beliefs but what happens when you do that is maybe those beliefs become stronger because you continue to refine those ideas, because things or ideas and beliefs that are continuously questioned, if you can continuously answer those questions, they become stronger, right? They become more and more refined. But if you can't continuously answer questions about the ideas and beliefs that you have, then maybe those aren't the right ideas and beliefs to have that govern your life. It's tough when you've held these ideas and beliefs for a really long time, though, to then just kind of switch and be like, nope, I'm all good. I'm just going to go and do something else. But if you really want to become the best version of yourself, you can't just take things blindly, and you need to continuously ask questions about what other people are telling you and your own beliefs, so that they can continue to be refined, hammered out, and strengthened over time, okay? Really try to never get in the rut of, not questioning what you already know. Unfortunately, the more you know, the more questions that you're going to have. So if you think you know everything, you're probably in a really bad spot in life, or you're just about to be in a really bad spot in life, okay? Once you think you know everything, you just gotta switch up the questions and start asking different ones in order to continue to learn more, okay? So that cognitive dissonance is something that it's really interesting right now, because I feel that I see that throughout the world in a lot of different ways, okay? People don't want to take in new knowledge because it might conflict with their beliefs, okay? But so it leads to confirmation bias. People only look up the things that already confirm what they believe, because if they started looking up things that support what they don't believe, it might start causing mental stress and anguish and all that stuff, because it might prove that they were wrong, or it might help them learn about something, and that's really tough. It's always easier to think that it's always easier to stay where you are than it is to continue to move forward in your personal development. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't do it, okay? But even just things like this, I'm trying to bring that awareness to you, so that when you know those things, know about cognitive dissonance, one day it'll flow right off the tongue, but probably not now. Once you really know about cognitive dissonance, you might be able to be more aware of your thought processes and why you might be choosing to do certain things, okay? awareness is really everything, okay? Being aware of your actions and not just being on autopilot for things. Oh, you know, I was taught to do this by my parents or my coach or something like that, like, and then just blindly following it. Like, ask those questions, because the more you know about a certain thing, the better decisions you're going to be able to make and the better behaviors that you're actually going to have in life, okay? We all want our thoughts to line up with our behaviors, but we need to continue to question the thoughts that we have and continue to make sure that those thoughts can be worked out and strengthened and, worked over time, so that our behaviors and the actual actions that we take in life and how we live our life can continue to basically be elevated and level up over time. I hope this kind of made sense. Obviously if it didn't, feel free to leave comments. Feel free to message me directly. I'd love to continue to have this conversation. The cognitive dissonance is something that I think a lot about, and it's kind of like a basic psychology 101 topic that I feel can take a really a much more broader and more practical application as we continue a conversation. So let me know. I hope you have a good day, and everybody have a good day.